This is Chapter 95 of The Flower of Freedom by Deborah Reeves. I'm Deborah, and it's my delight to read my book to you. Both the readings and the book itself are presented to you with all rights reserved. Thanks for coming. Take your seat, leave your burdens outside the door. This is a restful spot for those with good hearts. You're welcome here if you have good intentions. Here we go, Chapter 95, Thursday night. No one was invited on Thursday after school. They reserved that time for themselves. They needed it. Uncle Aki had told Marie it made no sense for her to come to the airport with them. You have school tomorrow. Marie had packed her gifts and many of Bertie's clothes in the suitcase that Uncle Aki had provided. She packed two of her favorite outfits for her mother as well. Aki insisted that his carry-on would be good enough for one weekend. It gave both Marie and Aki a warm feeling that they were pulling the wool over Bertie's eyes. Marie quipped that it was easier than usual because he still had that bruising around his eye. Bertie was his charming, optimistic self. He was missing home, but he was missing Paris in anticipation as well. He really loved that city. He felt torn between two continents, but soon it was time to go. He gave Marie 22 hugs in the last 3 hours. He gave her 3 at the door before he left to complete the count. When she finally demanded to know why he had a thing for 22, he shrugged and said 2, and 2 again. That just means you and me again, I guess. I even started using it on my hockey jersey when you left. It's my favorite number now. But I guess I won't be needing it on my jersey anymore. That part of my life has to be over. Bye, short stuff, he said, ruffling her hair, the way he had done when they were in middle school, the way that she hated so much. Only she found that she didn't quite hate it as much now. And then he said, 1, I love you too. 2, I don't want to do this without you. 3, I'm still having trouble finding that knitting circle, but I think they're sneaking in while I'm asleep, because my wrist and fingers are feeling stronger already. 4, thank you. You're a brilliant sister. Marie went to speak, but there was a frog in her throat, so she hugged Uncle Aki, and then she hugged Bertie and croaked out, I'm certain I have something brilliant and inspiring to say, but I just can't remember it right now. I'll write you a letter, and you had better write me back. She went with them into the lobby, and as the doorman loaded the car, she gave them both another hug and waved. She made it all the way up to the penthouse before the first tears fell. Stop it, she told herself. It was a bonus that you saw him. It's only a few months until you see him again. You agreed. You promised that you would study when you felt lonely. It's time to do just that. She locked the door to the penthouse and she read for a while before she went to bed. By the time Marie turned out her lights, the jet had taxied down the runway and it had lifted off into the air. Suzette had agreed to come tomorrow night, and the next day they were discussing it. Marie was very pleased, and she told Suzette so. Bianca overheard them, and she asked if she could come as well. Marie was surprised, but she did not want to make Bianca feel less than welcome. Her mother had always taught her to be inclusive. She glanced over at Suzette, and she had a surprised look on her face, but she only smiled at Marie. Marie knew that it was not what either of them had been looking forward to, so she felt relaxed and at home with Suzette, and then she had an idea. She said, Of course, Bianca, I was going to ask you and Nicole next. I'm glad you brought it up. I'm seeing Nicole in my next class. Why don't you come at 7? I thought I would come right after school, Bianca told her. Make it 7, Bianca, Marie said, beginning to feel wary of how hard Bianca was pushing. Bianca flounced off, saying, "See, it's 7. Suzette looked at Marie and she said, "I hate to say this, but I cannot believe who she reminds me of lately. She reminds me of Paulette. My mother used to be part of that lunch club, but in the end, she backed out and stopped attending. I knew Paulette a little when I was small, and she never liked me much." "Never mind, Suzette. She never liked me much either. I hate to admit it, but Bianca does do some things that remind me of Paulette. I wish I could let the memory of Paulette just rest in peace. I want to think of her well, I really do, but it's hard sometimes. I could only say this to you, but my Uncle Aki seems so much younger and happier now." "You're not the only one who sees it that way. My parents know what he's been through, and they never speak ill of the dead or anyone else for that matter, but they too think Aki is looking healthier now." "Well, it's just one weekend. It's important to be inclusive," Marie added. "Let's make the best of it. I just have this feeling that Bianca wants something that she hasn't told us about yet. At least we'll get Nicole too, if she agrees. Ask her nicely and tell her that we need her, because bunking with Bianca at the ski resort was quite enough for her, and you know Nicole, she likes everyone." That's the end of chapter 95. Please come back for chapter 96. It's called Canada's Couturier. It's never the same when you're not here. Please come and see us, and consider pressing the like button and subscribing if you'd like to. We'd be delighted to have you. Thank you. Bye-bye.